Okay. So, Kevin, what is your full name?
It is Kevin Christopher Wilcox.
Wilcox.
Yep.
Will and then Cox?
Yeah, one L actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Wilcux. Sometimes.
Uh-oh.
it's a weird
COX?
spelling.
Oh, yeah, it is. Okay. S at the end or no?
Just an X.
Okay.
COX.
Yeah, I would have never spelled that correctly. Where are you from?
I am from here. I'm from Salisbury, Maryland.
Okay. What year were you born?
1985.
And where did you graduate from high school?
I graduated from Holly Grove, which is a private school down the road from here.
Okay. Was it boys and girls?
Yes.
Okay. When did you first take an interest in the Army?
It was, I think when I saw that my younger cousin, or not my younger, my older cousin, who's like a brother to me, he enlisted into the Marine Corps at the rightful age of 17 with his parents' consent. You know, I saw such a difference in him when we went for his graduation, and you could tell, like, you know, he wasn't, you know, he wasn't just this boy anymore. That there was something different about him, just the way he looked, the way that he carried himself.
Okay.
So ever since I saw that, I was like, man, I want to be the same way.
Okay. Now, how old were you when you saw your older cousin?
I think at the time I was maybe 14, 15 years old.
Okay.
So.
So you said your cousin was in the service. Did you have any other family members?
Yes. My grandfather was a Korean War vet who served for I think it was 5 years during the Korean War.
Okay.
My great-grandfather was in the Navy in World War II.
Oh, wow.
So, he was part of the Pearl Harbor attack. So that was, so there's
So yeah, there's prominent history.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now, which branch did you join?
I joined the Marine Corps as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long did you serve? 4 years?
I served for 5 years.
5 years. Okay. Now, you don't have to give me all, but where were some of your tours, or majority of your tours?
The 2 tours that I did were both in Iraq. One from 2005 and 2006, several months, and then again in 2007 to 2008.
Okay. Now, what year did you graduate from high school?
Graduated in 2004.
2004, and you were in the military by 2005. So, did you graduate high school and say, I want to join the military?
I think it was my last year in high school. I was talking to the recruiter, and I swore in. I believe it was the spring of 2004. So I graduated shortly, thereafter in May. So right after that, I had the summer, and then September 1st, 2004 is when what they like to call, stepped foot on the yellow footprints in Parris Island, South Carolina.
Okay. Now, are you still enlisted?
No. I served 5, and then you're eligible for what's called an active ready reserve, which is your reserve time. I did 3 years when I got out, which they could call me at any time and say, hey, we need to call you back. But that was 2009, 10, 11, 12. That I was honorably discharged in is it 2012.
Okay. Now, what was Salisbury your main choice of school that you wanted to do? Your first college, Salisbury?
No, the first college that I went to was Warwick, just as a I really didn't know what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured, and I was kind of influenced by a lot of outside people saying, like, why don't you try community college to see if it's for you. So signed up for some just general electives to take to see how it went, and then I think it was after about doing 2 years there, almost 2.5 years, that's when I transferred over to SU.
Okay. Now, what were some of your duties while enlisted in the Marines?
My military occupation or specialty, or what's known as an MOS, was 7314, which is a UAV operator. So I flew drones for the Marine Corps.
Now, is there anything that the military helps you with that you can now take further in life to pass college and what you want to do in the future?
Oh yeah, it was basically the foundation that was set for me as an adult. It gave me a lot of structure, definitely routine, and it's kind of been the platform that as far as like leadership and that kind of thing. So especially since I'm a business student now, it's kind of set the bar of excellence, I guess. That
I got you.
I'm always trying to reach.
Yeah.
So
coming up to a close on this. So the military didn't essentially influence your major/minor. It was family members and friends.
I would say that the military was I guess one of those. It influenced it, but I think it was just. It was along the same track, if that makes sense. It aligned. It all served the purpose in the road that I chose for business. So, if that helps at all.
So you were a communications major, but now you're business?
No, I started off as an education major, as a teacher, and kind of reevaluated after things were kind of, I don't know, they weren't progressing forward, and switched over to the business school, and realized that I have a heart for that kind of thing, just being an entrepreneur for the most part.
Okay. Now, do you have military friends that you use as like a support system? Have you ever been in that situation?
Not so much myself. I still stay in touch with a lot of guys that I served with. But I think I can say that it's easy for people who have been in and who've served. There's so much commonality there. For example, this past Veterans Day last week, just seeing the vets out there, it's so easy to strike up a conversation, and so that in itself is support. Just whenever I get the chance to meet people who have served for the most part, and just show them how much I appreciate their service, and vice versa. It goes both ways.
Okay. Now, do you believe that some veterans have it tougher than others?
Oh, absolutely. My cousin, he served as an artilleryman for 4 years.
Yeah.
He he suffers from severe post-traumatic stress disorder. Just because of everything that he witnessed.
Right.
And I mean, he was there for Fallujah, and kicking down doors, and it's something that he's going to have to struggle with and wrestle with for the rest of his life. The things that he witnessed.
Okay. Now, if you had to rate the difficulty of college compared to the military, what would you say?
Oh, military hands down. I would say a boot camp in itself was the most challenging thing that I'll physically, emotionally, that I'll probably ever face in my life. It was just, it was a lot.
So now when you're doing schoolwork and you think back on it, you're like, I got this, I can do it.
Yeah, I think that kind of goes along with some of the things that you're asking earlier. After facing something like that, I always think to myself, no matter how hard the challenge is, I've overcome a lot of obstacles when I was in the military and saw a lot of things, and that's only set me up for success.
Okay. Now, 2 more questions. How far do you want to graduate SU, and do you want to go into another education system, or do you want to be done after this?
I think for right now, just to keep pushing along to get my degree in business management, and I always want to further my education no matter what. I always want to be learning and being in that sort of atmosphere.
Right. Now that essentially doesn't have to be school. When you get into a job, you'll be learning from that.
Yeah, definitely. Even if it's in your field, I feel like we all have a responsibility to grow in the things that we're passionate about and things that we want to do for a living. Okay.
Now, are there any outstanding difficulties coming back to regular life?
At first, the transition out of the military was pretty rough because that was as a Marine, you live, breathe, eat, sleep the Marine Corps 24/7. Whether you're in that uniform or not, you are a Marine 24/7, and even to this day, like they say, once a Marine, always a Marine. So when you transition back into society, I think the biggest thing that I struggled with was the fact that, you see people that take everyday normal freedoms for granted.
Yeah.
And, meanwhile, there are men and women overseas right now fighting to protect those nominal freedoms, and so that was tough at first, but I've been out for 2014, so about 5 years now, and I'm finally starting to accomplish some sort of normalcy, in school and with family, so.
Let me just make sure. So you got out at 2008. 2012 you were discharged. What did you do for the 3 years from 2008 to 2012?
Got out in 2009, September 1st, 2009. And then